We all have that one anime that we all hate, and no matter how many times we try to give it a chance, we just cannot like it. Well, my name is Birthroad, and today I'm going to be making this video about why I believe The Elusive Samurai is the worst anime ever made. Now, before we get started into my points and everything like that, I just want to say that obviously this is my opinion, and if you do like the show, that's fine. I don't dislike you for liking the show. It's just, to me, I truly do believe it is the worst show I have ever seen. Now, that doesn't mean you're not allowed to enjoy it. I just don't enjoy it, and here's why. So to start off with, we'll start off with the pros because I will give it some credit. Although it's the worst show I have ever seen, it's not totally awful. It does have a good intro song. The song for the intro is pretty solid, I'm not going to lie. It's pretty good. The animation as well, it's pretty good, I'm not going to lie. The animation does look good. I will give it that too. Very pretty. And then finally, we have good action. When there is action, it is actually pretty decent. And I mean, animated-wise, everything else behind the action I think is trash. But animation-wise, I think the action in Elusive Samurai is actually pretty solid. But now we're going to get into the cons. I have 4 major cons. We're going to start with the one that impacts it the least, all the way to the one that really, really makes me hate the show. And so we'll get started here with terrible voice acting.
No one dares get on my bad side. Whoever's foolish enough to make an enemy of me pays a steep price.
Now, I watched it in dub. I like to watch all my shows in dub because I'm going to be honest, I don't have much time to just sit and watch something. So I normally have it up while I'm doing something else. And The Elusive Samurai was no different, right? So I was like, oh, I'm going to watch it in dub. It has a dub. The dub voice actors are terrible. They're genuinely so bad. There's no emotion. They don't even fit the characters. There might be 1 or 2 characters that have a good voice actor. That's how bad the dub is. I feel like most of the characters are terrible. They sound awful, not gonna lie. So obviously that's a big complaint if most of your characters just sound terrible, because I can deal with some bad voice acting, but it's majority of the characters have bad voice acting. But still, voice acting to me wouldn't make a show the worst show ever, right? That's just the first of our big issues. Now we'll move on to the second one, which I have. It is based on a true story, and it's totally wrong. Now, I know many people are going to be saying that, oh, well, just because it's based off a true story doesn't mean they can't do its own thing, this and that, blah, 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 which is true, which I do not mind. However, if you're going to base something off a true story, there's got to be some, I don't want to say realism, because it doesn't need to be realistic. You can base things off a true story and make it, super crazy, but it just doesn't follow the actual story at all, and the realism of the actual story just is not there. It's based on a true story, but it's not even close. It's just a fantasy booking of what happened. And if you know the actual true story behind the Hojo clan and the Takauji clan and everything like that, the guy that is writing The Elusive Samurai about the Hojo clan coming back, the Hojo clan were not good people, in terms of how history is written. Obviously, history is written by the victor, but the Takauji clan was the ones that brought in, entertainment. They brought in, all the different plays and stuff. They modernized art in Japan. They were the reason that, media started to pick up in Japan, and to basically write the opposite of that story and be oh, they're the bad guys in the Hojo, or yeah, the Takauji clan, they did, start a lot of war and do a lot of stuff like that, but they brought in a lot of good stuff for Japan. Honestly, Japan was very far behind for a very long time, and the Takauji clan was one of the biggest driving forces for it actually progressing. And so to basically write a story about how they are terrible and that the Hojo are the good guys, which they're not, and well, really, there's no good guys in war, but either way, they're painting the Hojo as all these great people that they're going to rebuild, and that the Takauji clan is evil or whatever. That's not what happened. That's not at all what happened. And even if you do want to tell that weird fantasy, to me, it's not to the extent of saying if Germany won World War II, but it's basically doing that, where you have it'd be a communist, writing a story about the Communist Party winning, which, yeah, some people have that interesting. Personally, I just think that's weird. I don't know why you'd want to see, the bad guys win. I don't know, but anyway, that's besides the point. He paints it in a completely different light of what it was, which, sure, to many people that may not matter, but it's based on a true story, and it's nothing like the true story. The Hojo clan was pretty much done after the Takeuchis came in, like, there wasn't all this one survivor or anything. There wasn't even a massacre or anything like that. It's just the Hojo clan didn't really have the power anymore. So they changed things up, like, entirely in this, which, sure, whatever, is okay, but I just don't like that they are basically twisting the entire story of what actually happened, and it's based on a true story. And then not only that, it'll move us into our next point, which is that it's based on a true story, but there's none of the realism of the true story, which moves into my next point, that the characters make no sense. Even for this made-up universe, they make no sense. Like, I just genuinely don't understand half of these characters. We've got a visionary who can just see into the future, and he uses it to get food. He doesn't use it for anything beneficial. Now, I get it, it's only 12 episodes so far, and I wish it would stop after that, but still, he can see into the future somehow, some way, just because, and he doesn't use it to help. Like, he doesn't use it in a good way. So already, it's like, alright, the point of this guy is stupid, and he's an adult, by the way, just hanging out with a bunch of minors. Like, they're all like 10, 11 years old, and he's just hanging out with them, abusing them for power, by the way. So, that as well, like, what are we doing? Like, that character makes no sense, bro. Anyway, besides the point, then you got the main character, who, yes, he practices archery or whatever, but there's episodes where he gets in competitions with military men. I believe one of them is even a general. Like, he gets in a competition with a general of a military, this 10-year-old kid, by the way, and beats him. He beats him in a competition. I don't care how much you practice. You are 10 years old. You are not beating a grown man, general, soldier, warrior in any, like, battle competition. It does not make any sense whatsoever. It really doesn't. And that's not even the half of it, because that's not even the craziest one. There's two other characters that make even less sense than those two. And one of them, well, actually, I'm going to do the crazy one last. But the next one is like, I can't remember if he was like the martial arts or swords guy, but it's like this 11-year-old kid that is like a master of like all swords or martial arts. I can't remember. It's one of those. It's been a while since I watched. But he's basically a master of like swords. And he's 11 years old, and he's like the greatest swords master in the world. How? He's 11! That makes no sense. It makes no sense. It genuinely, that character is stupid. And what's funny is he's probably the best character in the show, because he has an actual personality, but like, he makes no sense. He absolutely, 11 years old and the master of all swords. Now, the crazy thing is I'm telling you all this isn't even the main thing that makes me dislike the show. We haven't even got to that yet. These are just a lot of things that I think are bad about the show and don't help it. The final point is the biggest one for me. But anyway, we have one more character to talk about, and that's the greatest spy or whatever, or the greatest like ninja or whatever. Yeah, he's like 8 years old, dude. He's like 8 years old, and he's the greatest spy ever. He can sneak in anywhere. He's undetectable, can steal all this, and that, which we do find out isn't really true, but still, to get that moniker, like, he didn't give himself that nickname. People call him that, and he's 8 years old. Like, what are we doing? And that's not the worst part about him, because you could get over that. That could just be a joke, whatever, this, and that. He likes to get drunk at like 8, 9 years old and piss on people. How is that a good character? Like, genuinely, who wrote that? It's like, oh, I'm cooking with this. No, you're not. It's terrible. And now I get many people are going to be like, oh, it's just funny. You're no fun. You're no fun. And that's going to move me into my final point, which is that this show has no target audience. If you want it to be childish, which a lot of the stuff I named is childish, then sure. But a childish show doesn't have people getting skinned, cut down, beheaded, killed in front of you. That's not a kid's show. So, like, that is my biggest issue, is there is no target audience. There are some episodes that feel like, oh, this is a goofy children's show. And then the next episode is somebody getting, like, their skin ripped off, their arm cut off or something like that. Like, who is this show for? This show is for the adults who never grew up. It's like that millennial humor where it's like, I'm a little bit quirky. Like, that is exactly what this show is for. It's for people like that. And it's like, that is no target audience. It's for the Disney adults. Like, they think they're mature and then they just like a bunch of kid shit. And there's nothing wrong with liking kid shit. I like Beyblade. I like Pokemon. I like a lot of stuff. I still like Ben 10. I go back and watch Total Drama. It's good, but it's fine because the kid shows stay kid shows, even if they have serious moments. Like Beyblade, if you know, like Ryuga is a pretty mature character, but it is still fitting in a kid show. You don't put a kid show in with people getting killed and murdered and sliced in front of you. It makes no sense. There's no target audience for the show. I genuinely don't understand how anyone can enjoy this, because you go from it being as childish as SpongeBob, like it has jokes that would be in SpongeBob, that's how childish it is, to then people getting killed. That is not for children, and that is not for adults. Like, I just don't understand how people can bounce back and forth between these two things and enjoy the show. That is why I don't like it for the most part. The other three things I named are just bad things about the show, but I can even look past that. There are shows that have those three that I still enjoy. It is just the thing of no target audience. Like, it just bounces back and forth between being a kid's show and being an adult show. It's like, it just doesn't work. There's no, what's the right word? There's no cohesion there. Like, there are other shows, like, let's say, for example, Bleach. Bleach has a lot of killing. Bleach has a lot of serious moments, but Bleach is also pretty funny, and it has some childish jokes in it, right? But it works. It is connected. The Elusive Samurai, it's not. It's 1 minute it is for children, and the next minute it is for adults. It's not like, oh, it's just got some childish humor sprinkled in, or oh, it's just got some mature stuff sprinkled in, like, let's say with like Beyblade. No. It is literally just night and day. Different parts of episodes are just night and day. Some parts are extremely childish, and you can see it on Nick Jr. That's how childish it is. And then the next part is like Adult Swim. Like, you're not even seeing that on Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon. Like, it is so crazy. Like, I don't understand, like, how genuinely how people can enjoy the show. I know people that do enjoy the show, and that's fine. And I will say, the reason I actually did finish this show, by the way, which is crazy to me because I didn't even drop the show, and I think it's the worst show ever. But anyway, I do want to say this as a little bit of a note, because people are going to be like, well, why did I watch it? Why did I keep watching it? I got recommended this by a friend, and I just want to tell the story because this is another thing that pisses me off. Now, this doesn't make me hate the show more, but he told me to watch this show. I thought it was terrible. I told him it was terrible, and he was like, oh, I never even got past episode 1. Fuck you. Like, this show is terrible. I genuinely don't understand how people like it, and I do believe it is the worst anime ever. Obviously, this may be a hot take to some people. If you enjoy the show, you enjoy the show. That's fine, right? I don't care if you do, but this is the reasons I hate it. Let me know down in the comments, what is the anime that you guys hate? Like, what anime have you tried to watch? Maybe people said it was good, and it's not. For me, the only shows I really dislike are The Elusive Samurai and Skate the Infinity. I feel like every other, and Sword Art Online, every other show I've watched has been relatively good. I've seen about 80 anime, so only 3 of them being bad. Pretty good, I would say, right? So this is definitely one of my hot takes, I guess. But yeah, let me know your least favorite anime and why. And yeah, hope to see you guys in another video. Much love. Peace.